Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Bit of a departure episode for you all from the norm. The feeds have been a little bit slow lately. That's because Senior and I have been rounding out the last of the fall chores these last few days. And I'll just do a quick update as to what's been keeping the both of us busy. And it'll also tie in quite well. Several people in the comment section lately have been asking, how do I store my tractor parts? Well, with the red shed now here and all of the old storage sheds pretty much emptied out for tractors that have went up there, that means I now have surplus room. So everything that was in kind of lower tier quality storage just moved up a notch or two. So here's what we've been doing. We're back at the cat shack, the old tin shed, and look at this. All kinds of empty shelves, pallets, everything strung out front. And Senior's old D2 is the last thing in here. It's the only thing in here. You remember a couple episodes back when I shoehorned this in, barely had room on all corners, but now there's plenty of space around it. It was a lot of work. Everything was taken out of here. And I moved it all into what I call the can, my 40-foot shipping container. And this is where the prototype crawler X253 lives, looking sharp as usual. We've got the D2 wood cab, soon to go on 5J1113 Swamp Angel. That's been moved forward as well. So here's all the tractor parts. This is the full storage lot. I've got 4 sections of steel shelving plus the wooden shelving that used to be in the back of the tin cat shack. I relocated that to back here. So loose storage up in there, a lot of number 9 Auto Patrol radiator parts, air cleaner stuff. I've got a Moline 445 grill, some D2 and Cat 10 stuff over there. This back here is where we have the bulk of the gear oil, the track roller grease, my volume pump, and then we get down into different cans of labeled parts, number 9 grader, RD6, D3400. We've got some more D3400 and RD6 stuff down here. We got a crankshaft cubby. I have a couple more I could set up inside here too. That's the best way to store crankshafts, actually, standing vertically. So that big old monster right here, that's an RD6 crankshaft. A spare that I've got, that's another number 9 Auto Patrol or Cat 20 crankshaft there. Over to the other side, more RD6, more D2 stuff boxed up. We get into some of our motor oil over here, surplus grease pumps on that shelf. Here's some more gear oil, some engine oil. We got quite a lot of space left for more engine oil up there, running a little bit low. Anyhow, this shelf here, we've got Caterpillar toolboxes, number 9 Auto Patrol / Cat 20 radiator core parts. We get into some Farmall stuff, some belt pulleys, new D2, Caterpillar D2 seats, a lot of Farmall H stuff down through here. Some new old stock Cat camshafts. We start to get into the track bolts, nuts, master pens, more track bolts, some injection pump stuff, a lot of the Cat tools over here, Caterpillar 10 stuff down here, new old stock RD6 parts. We've got some new RD6 cylinder liners over there, some old oil system radiator stuff for D2. These big cans under here, Caterpillar D2 track links, pins and bushings, Cat D2 recoil springs down there. Over to the other side, bottom shelf, a lot of Caterpillar D2 engine, transmission, clutch related stuff. We got some IH wheel weights, some heavier steel down on the floor under there. Next shelf up, we get into a lot of D2 and RD6 starting engine. All kinds of that stuff, carbs, air cleaners, crankshafts, pistons, rods. Next shelf up from that, cat bolts, more cat bolts, more cat bolts, all sorted by size. Rivets, plow bolts, brass fittings. You get into some implement stuff. Got some more cat fuel towers and filters back there, some different instrument panel gauge stuff. Number 9 Auto Patrol valve train, some D2 valve train stuff. Most of this shelf up here is still open. Just down from that, we start to get into some toolbox, IH, sickle mower stuff. We got a few more Caterpillar D2 boxes of parts. Good open room there and there yet for more stuff. Early gas cat oddities. Down here, air cleaner stuff, early gas cat water pumps, hydraulic drives, throttle pivot, oil pumps, oil filters, carburetors. Down here, Caterpillar belt pulley, RD6 water pump, another Caterpillar belt pulley. Over to the other side, I'm starting the bottom. That's a lot of grader stuff. We got some RD6 track rollers, some Cat 10 and D2 track rollers, spare RD6 cylinder head. We got another Cat 20 number 9 cylinder head. We got crankshafts for number 9 auto patrol and crates down there. We've got more grader stuff, D2 steering clutch stuff, RD6 starting pinion, D3400 stuff back there. Interesting, neat old Fox chopper cover. More grader stuff, and then crates of engine parts, brake bands, interesting cast iron electric motor brackets, kind of a cast iron oddity shelf here, old seats, neat old levers with mechanisms and things with interesting lettering, stuff like that. Number 9 auto patrol steering wheels up top here, Caterpillar D2 number 41 and 44 hydraulic unit lines, controls. And this great big crate here is kind of interesting in itself. This is a fully refurbished, ready to go, ready to run Caterpillar RD6 radiator that I had the core redone in for the narrow RD6 just before I realized I had a bent rod. Some spiders have been getting in there, but otherwise nice and clean. So that thing is ready to go. Grill screen, all the little crank receptacles ready to go down the bottom. You can just barely see the RD6 there. So that one's been in the crate for a while, waiting for me to get to the narrow. So that pretty much rounds it out. We've got a few more shelves we can fill yet. And then just, you know, you always need a bunch of bungees. So that's been, I think I've been going on this for 4 days straight. Cataloging, organizing, labeling, storing, just finding places, filling gaps. So that's what's been keeping me busy lately. But we've got the whole Caterpillar and Farmall parts stockpile in place. So now let's come out here and see what Squatch Senior's been up to. I can hear the mill running. Yeah, it's like he's got a birch log on there this time. First cut, making a slab. So what is the project today?
Well, I'm going to break this down. It's not really a fit log for lumber. I mean, we got all these branches off, so I'm looking at just making like 2-inch slabs, maybe 1.5-inch slabs.
Okay.
And see if I can catch all the character of these crops.
So you're doing like the heavy, like the kind of the live edge log type slab. So okay, I got you.
And I just did my first cut to level it off.
All right, moving the power head back, getting ready to set up probably one more slab cut on this, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we have one more slab cut there. What I did is I centered the pith on both ends within a half an inch.
So the pith is the center of the log.
Center of the log. So hopefully it follows all the way through.
Yep.
And down here I got the same. And then they consider this a 30-inch mill. Well, it is 30-inch from the bunks to as high as you can reach this. But my limiting width factor is between the guides, which is 24 inches.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a 30-inch mill, but you know, the rounded log, you can get them down to where everything fits. So.
And sometimes you've had to take a chainsaw and trim some high spots off if you had to.
You can see what I did here.
Yep.
And I did the same over here.
Yep.
And another one over here, so I could fit it through and miss all my guides. So then I had to raise this end. You can see how I had to raise this end.
You have to shim it
to get the center of the block up.
Yep.
I got my locks in there, so don't twist and roll.
Because the way the logs are usually bigger on one end than the other, it'd be sitting there crooked if you didn't. So.
Yep. So anyway, I'm going to start opening this thing up and see what we got in there.
Yeah, let's see what's inside. Kind of nice.
Oh, we're starting to get into some of the character.
Yep.
There's some branches, you can see a little rot here. Yeah, this is getting past for sure. You can see some rot there. If you look at the end here, we're getting a little bit of rot in.
Yeah, all the discoloring starting to happen. Yep.
So I'm gonna take 1.5 inches. Cut them to see us how this smaller log. I'm gonna do 1.5 inches and see what we got.
But for these big heavy boards, all that different color and stuff, that ends up looking pretty nice when you get it all cut. So. Good. Yeah, look at that. That's actually looking pretty nice. All the grain in there. Yeah, all the curls and swirls. Yeah, that'll make some nice looking boards.
Well, you can probably book match these if you wanted to. You just stand these up in the mill the way they come off, and you just cut a straight inch down wherever you want on both sides. Take a wider table.
So you're taking the two boards, you're making a flat edge, so you'll lay both of them out side by side, so it'll be like almost mirror image is what you're saying, right?
You'll have it this way here, and then it'll just kind of match.
Yep.
Lots of stuff you can do with these. They're not good for lumber and all this stuff. Somebody might be able to make a bench out of them. I don't know.
They're good for character.
Oh, yes. Well, I did 2 more cuts on here. You can see I sometimes stack them up. You can see 2 cuts. I could have probably done 1 more, but then I start running into problems back here. I could probably be hitting into some steel. We don't need to do that. That's not real healthy in a blade. Another limiting factor I got here, we can look at the mill one more time. Just for depth of cut, I got about 6 inches here. It's about all I got. So I can do probably 3 cuts like that. If I'm in a 2.5, I can only do 2 cuts. But smaller log like this, what I'll do, I'm only doing 1.5 inches. I did some oak here. I did that about 2.5, but they were bigger logs too, more uniform. So I'll get these slid off on the forks, and you see how I cover the forks with boards. Them steel forks put stain, especially oak is real bad. They'll stain your wood, so I put boards on there. So I'll get these slid off. I don't lift these anymore. They're just way too heavy. Get them dusted off, and we'll take a look and see what we have. Let's see what we come up with here. Looks like we got some character going on. Some of the character into the crotch there, we got down there. This is a mating surface on this one right here. If you flip this one on top of this one, that would be a match set. If you want to do a book match set here, what I would probably do, you could do it either way. You could do a straight cut here and here, or if you wanted to leave that character, you could do a straight cut here and over here and put them together to make yourself a wider table or whatever you want to do with them. I kind of like the way they look here. You know, we're getting into a lot of character in the crotch. There is some rot going on in here, but a lot of people think that just added character to it. So I'm going to flip this one over, and the bottom side of this one right now would be to match this. So let me get this flipped over, and we will compare these two right here. Well, after the flip, this is what we got. Still quite a bit of character in these. I mean, kind of in a way, I like this setup better. But you can see where all the crotch stuff comes in. Still possibility to do a book match set on them. To do that, what I would do is I'd put the 2 sawn surfaces together. I'd stand them up vertically in the mill. I would saw the straight edge flat across both pieces at the same time, so the grain would be perfectly matched. So I think it's, like I say, this stuff isn't real good for boards, but I think somebody could possibly make something out of this. So I'll get this cleaned off. It's time to flip the log here. Probably got 2 more cuts and I'll finish this one up, and then we'll get back to you when I get done.
Okay everybody, it's about an hour later. He's finished with all of the sawing, so here's the finished product. Walk us through it.
Okay, as you seen, I had that half a log left on the mill. I had 2 slabs I could get out of there. This one else has got some pretty interesting character here. You can see an old limb started coming out and it growed over. Here you can kind of see where the limb started.
That's really nice, that dark center like that.
Yep. And another trick to really make this stand out is you throw water on it. You don't have to worry about getting these wetter. They're already
wet. Yep.
It takes probably about 2 years for these to dry.
Yeah, because they're pretty thick. There's a
1.5 inches, well,
yeah.
5/8 on these.
It's a substantial board. It's almost like a quick varnish. It gives you an idea what it's going to look like.
Yep.
Yeah, boy, look at all that. Even the different colors. You get a little more reds in there and some yellows, and yeah, that is some really, really nice stuff.
Kind of gives you an idea of what it looked like in the finished project. Or you could stain at it, totally whatever you want. So yeah, it really makes that stand out. There's some really interesting stuff going on here.
Yeah, where all the branches and everything forked off. And
yeah. So
really, really neat. And this stack right here, this was a rather large oak log that also wasn't great for lumber, but it was really good for these real heavy duty slab type boards with the live edge.
Them are 2.5 inch thick.
These are 2.5. Okay, yeah, so these are pretty substantial. There's a lot of weight to each one of those.
2-person lift on them.
You can see some of the raise in the grain, the flex and everything.
Here you can really see it quite a bit here. I could throw some water in this one too. You can
Yeah,
get a good
go
look
ahead.
at it.
Yeah, that brings it out, darkens it up a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of raise in there. That's in the center of the log.
Yeah,
there.
nice character there. You can see where that branch split out, and that's where
bark.
the bark grew in.
Yep, that's
all
bark.
those years.
There's some more bark down here. Is where it growed over from the branch.
So a lot of good prospects for projects here too.
Yeah.
So right here is another oak log. Now this is one we pulled out of the woods with the Super M about a year ago, last November.
That's
okay.
when the power line cut out.
Yep, and we'll throw the
industry.
I'll throw a link to that episode up at the end here. But yeah, so this is at about a year, and Senior went and debarked it, and you can see where he cut every slab. And are these the 2.5s as well?
Yep, they're all 2.5 in the oak.
Yep. So to get it to dry, you throw these stickers in there for spacers. Lets airflow through.
Every 2 foot I throw a sticker.
But you leave the slab on the top. So, and then you also stack it in the order in which it come out of the log. So explain to us why that is.
One of the theories, don't prove me that I know everything, but they tendency to say, just leave this out in the weather. I'll put some ratchet straps around there to bind it tight,
Mm-hmm.
keep it together. But they say as the water sheds, it'll keep shedding down the side. But what that'll also do is kind of leach into the edge a little bit and kind of dampen that again. So when that dampens again, that's going to kind of even the drying process, because you're going to dry from the edges in farther first before the center gets dry. That's why they figure as the water sheds off, it'll leach in, it'll kind of keep this damp to kind of dry even to the center.
It's just more uniform that way.
Yep, more uniform drying. That's the theory. Whether it works or not, I couldn't tell you. I've never tried it before.
And you said it might be a year or two before these actually fully dry?
Oh, probably a couple of years on this thick, maybe more.
But yeah, there's a few dollars worth of really nice heavy oak board in there.
Yeah. And
Plus,
these last 2 logs here were not good logs for making lumber on us.
but that's the quick way to saw up a log, you got to admit.
I thought there was probably better use than firewood for it.
So now the actual lumber that you've been making.
Yeah, we had 3 logs come out of that tree. The butt log wasn't too bad. I've got that sawed up over here.
So here is the one oak log that was the good lumber log, and a lot of people in the comments have asked, like when we did like the loft building and everything in the red shed, they asked if that lumber was from Senior's Mill, and I told them no. Because we don't
have access to the pine.
Yep, because that's pine boards is mainly construction and framing lumber. Most of what we do here is going to be oak, birch, a little bit of maple, some popple for some blocking or thin boards,
You
but
can see some blocking we put up over here.
6x6s and 4x4s and 4x6s. But
3x3s.
this is all oak, and it's good quarter sawn lumber.
There's a little maple in here too. But You can see I try to quarter saw a lot. You can see on this one, I got a lot of the rays coming in on a quarter saw.
You can see some on the edge of here and the edge of another one.
Basically, you want it on the face. Most of my good stuff is in the center of the pile.
Yep.
I kind of put the worst stuff to the outside.
But this is good for furniture, cabinet making.
Yep, it's more hobby wood, you could say, or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the bulk. You're kind of more of the custom cut style lumber that you take off of the band mill.
All this stuff is 1.125" sawed, you know, so it's plain down, because oak has got a lot of shrinkage. So I cut it 1.125". That way you come out with a full 3/4, maybe a little better if you want it.
Yeah, a lot of nice lumber in here. So no, we don't really we don't do much for construction lumber off the band mill, but it's a lot of this really higher quality stuff like these quarter sawn boards and that super thick stuff. So that pretty much rounds out what Senior's been up to the last few days. And you all saw what I've been up to the last few days. Mother Nature granted us a few more decent days worth of weather. The snow that arrived a few days ago has melted, so old man winter's not here yet. We've just been out making the best of what we've got for decent weather still. So thank you, everybody. Senior?
Yeah, we got 2 more logs, got a pile and stripped yet. So.
Yep, so we got to get moving. I thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the tag along, just the brief update video on the day, and hope to see you all back again.